Hey everyone, I'm Hallie Turner, Community Engagement Specialist for Columbia County, and for today's design recognition episode, we're here at Westlake Commons. For decades, this property sat with plans that never came to life until it landed in the hands of a local entrepreneur with a passion for real estate. Designed by McMillan Posdine Smith Architecture, and built by Duckworth Development with additional work done by J.H. Cleveland Construction, this nearly 6-acre development located along the Ferry corridor brings everything together in one place. From local shops and restaurants to wellness and fitness, every detail was designed to fit the look and feel of Columbia County. And while it may look seamless now, getting it to this point took years of vision, coordination, and community trust that didn't just happen overnight. Joining us today to talk a little bit about how all of this went from plans on paper to what we see today is the developer behind it all, Rafy Bassali. So Rafy, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
So you grew up in Augusta and have a huge passion for real estate. So you really know this area, you live here, you have children here, you and your wife own several established businesses across the CSRA. So you really know the area very well. So when you drove by this property, can you talk to us a little bit about your vision for what it could become?
Sure. It was more of how many people lived in this area. I mean, there was a lot of residential communities all throughout the area. There just wasn't as much in the retail service, and that's where my businesses were. So I just thought it was a little underserved. Other than houses and schools and some facilities, there wasn't a lot of eating or shopping. So that was the idea.
And the original plans date back that were approved were all the way back to like 1988. So when you purchased this land, how did you work with the county to kind of bring it to what it is today?
I knew I wasn't going to do that plan. That's, I think, a plan that typically has been popular, but isn't as popular now with big box stores not being as popular as they once were, and they're not as functional. And this is more the environment I came from. I have several stores in Surrey Center, and I wanted more of that environment. There's a lot of built-in residential into Columbia County, all these pretty established neighborhoods, but short of, you know, they have their little community centers inside, but they don't necessarily have a place where they can congregate in a commercial setting. So I think the idea was the residential is really established, even some medical services is really established, but there could always be more places to eat and play and shop. We saw a need and we're trying to fill it, and then we also needed more space because so many people already shopped with us, so we needed more space.
And so when you look at this development, it really has that neighborhood, modern community feel that is what Columbia County provides. You look next door, we've got the Claiborne Senior Living Center. Next to that is Augusta Plastics and the WellStar Health Center. And then just a little bit beyond that is the hair salon. So they all kind of have that same look. How did you work with the county to bring that here?
I wanted it to fit. I wanted it to look almost like a downtown a little bit, to have a little bit of different looks and frontages, but they were pretty easy to work with, and I think as long as it looks nice, they're pretty accommodating. It was a learning experience. I like learning by doing versus in a classroom, so I think I learned a lot, and I think I know, and I liked the guidance. I liked that trees should be here and here, and I think that added to the beauty of this development, but all of Columbia County as a whole.
And what's different about here is there's a lot of green space in this center, and that's not what you see a lot with different shopping centers or outlets or all of that. And so how were you able to incorporate that to really stand out but also fit in at the same time?
Partly I do have businesses in the shopping center, so it wasn't always about real estate or development specifically. I wanted it to be nice. I wanted it to be my front yard and my curb appeal to my businesses, and that just helped attract the right type of businesses and the businesses I wanted to be here versus just who is the best fit.
And another thing is that this development has a lot of intentional key designs in this that people may not really notice. And for me, that was the parking. So some of the parking for the retail space you'll see is parking out front, but when it comes to sitting outside, like the creamery, it's a little bit further back, and the restaurants are on the parking is in the back. So can you talk to us about some of those key design priorities that you really wanted to implement?
The architects get a lot of credit for helping me formulate something that wasn't parking focused. Usually you'll see a sea of parking and then a strip of building. And that is very functional, and you get more parking spaces out that way, but you lose a little bit of character and a little bit of design element that I think takes away from the aesthetics of the center, which makes it nice to look at and to be a part of.
Absolutely. And there was, of course, a little bit of pushback, as there is any development. Having such a huge following with Swank, Posh Tots, Escape Outdoors, they're crossing state lines. We've got some in Athens, all around the CSRA. Do you think that that helped when people heard that, hey, there's going to be a new Swank, a new location of Swank that's moving to Westlake Commons. There's going to be another location of Posh Tots. How did you overcome those concerns that people had about this development coming here?
It's hard to know what's coming when it's just dirt and it's just grass and promises only go so far. I think it just worked with people through meetings and community meetings and showing them the plans, I think helped a lot. Once there were some renderings to show, people are very visual and can see a picture versus plans or drawings. So everyone was pretty accommodating. I think they didn't want certain types of businesses, but that wasn't what I was trying to put here anyway. I think people are used to anchors, and I think that term is changing into smaller anchors and stores people like to go to. And I think we did get established as an anchor of the shopping center, and then that helped let people decide to rent here, and also the community kind of bought in early on because they recognized some of these names, and all these businesses are locally owned and they bring their own following, which helps the whole community aspect.
So being a local developer, you didn't just send people out to do the advocating for it. You showed up at Columbia County, you talked about your project, you really advocated for the process behind it.
I did that for two reasons. One, I like to learn. I think it was a way I could be there and answer questions. I do think it added some clarity for the community and for the county to say, he's here, he'll answer the questions, and he's been here for a little while. So I think it put everybody at ease.
And you knew that you wanted Swank and you wanted Posh Tots, but you didn't want just the two of them here.
Sure.
So when you were filling these build-outs, how intentional was it to you and your wife to make sure that those spaces that you fill these empty build-outs were what they are now? How did you pick those businesses?
Very. I reached out to them half the time. The types of businesses in each spot were, I wanted a restaurant here, a coffee shop here, a dessert specialty food place there. So I kind of already had picked out what I wanted there, and partly I thought it would be a really good mix for the community, but also it does help me personally that my customer is their customer. We kind of share customers and advertise to the same demographic.
And when you come into Westlake Commons, you can go and work out, you can go to the spa, you can come and grab a coffee when you're done, you can shop, you can come for lunch, stay for dinner. It really is that one-stop shop feel. Was that something that you worked with the county was that always in the part of the vision, that one-stop shop?
Yes, it's hard to predict what other people do with their businesses and what decisions they'll make, but yes, that was the idea. I wanted a mom and a daughter to be able to shop at 90% of the places here and make a day or an afternoon out of it, park close to one business, but then walk around to the rest of the businesses and kind of experience everything.
And where we're standing now, is this the final finished product of Westlake Commons, or do we have something coming in the future? There
is potential options for a couple pop-ups and even a building where we're standing. I think I'm enjoying the grass right now, so it'll probably be a indoor-outdoor concept, but there is one more building that's in the plans, and then a pop-up or two that is already stubbed up for, but isn't for sure yet.
Rafy, thank you so much for joining us today. What you have here at Westlake Commons is such a beautiful area. So if you want to come and stop by, you can come over here. We're right off of Ferry Road. So until next time, we'll see you right back here on Design Recognition.